But I'll tell you this, you know, you showed up here today. That says a lot about all of you, because other people didn't, you did, so give yourself a hand, because that says something about all of you guys. So, our goal here is to cover some things with you to help you understand what we're doing. But what drives us all really crazy is that what we do is so simple and it's so big. So it's simple and it's big that we sometimes we have to put on this big training and say all these things to take something so great and just tell all of us the obvious. Now think about this. You know, these industries that we are in today, all these services that we offer, you know, whether it's merchant services or gas or electricity or mobile phone service, you know, home security, identity theft protection. Now you think about each of these services, that's an industry. And each of these industries, separate and collectively, today are the largest and fastest growing industries in the world, period, hands down. So large that I hate even talking about it because you can't really comprehend it. You know, think about mobile phone service. Who in this room, I know not everybody, but who in this room has a mobile phone? That was a joke, right? That industry alone, that one industry, just one service, we spend in the United States, we spend over $300 billion every 12 months. So, and that's just one of all the services. That's why we say we're in the $1 trillion essential services industry, because why are these industries big? Why are they competitive? Why is everybody going after it? Because it's the closest thing to paying taxes. Because we cannot live without these services. Businesses can't live without them. Individuals cannot live without them. And that's why everybody wants a piece of it, because that money is coming in every single year, hands down. And do you know, this is what keeps me up at night, because honestly, when we launched ACN, it was 1993. I was 26 years old. I did the kickoff meeting. And I was excited back then. Can you imagine, right? I knew what we were doing was big because it just made so much sense. But if you would have told me that I would be more motivated today than I was then, I would have never believed you. First of all, when you're 26, you think by the time you're 50, you're dead. Right? You don't even comprehend the age, right? It's the game over. You're out of the game, right? That's just what you think, right? You just don't get it, right? Then all of a sudden you get older, you go, well, I'm not that old, you know, you're pretty old. But that was 28 years ago, and if you would have told me then I'd be more motivated today, I would have never believed you. But everything that's transpired over the last 28 years, I can't catch my breath. This opportunity has grown bigger than our wildest imaginations, and I'm going to tell you something right now. That one of the biggest things we told people in 1993 is, you know, we started off, and you guys know, we started with one service in one country. It was home phone service, long distance service, right? And back then, we were excited, and we told people, there's services coming that we don't even know about, that people are going to be dependent on. Do you want to hear something crazy? You know what some of those services were? I remember when we launched pagers. I'll never forget how excited I was about pagers. Hold on a second, you mean you dial a number and it pops in this little box? You gotta be kidding me. Talk about technology, right? That was amazing technology. You know, I remember someone coming up to me the first time and saying, hey, you guys are gonna get involved in the internet. I go, the inner what? The internet. Now, think about that. We can't even imagine life without the internet, right? And so I'm going to tell you something even more interesting. I already know some things I cannot talk about right now. Sorry, I apologize. But I will say this, that we are already in talks about some services that are coming that are going to shatter some of the biggest services we've ever done. Okay? I'm telling you that. So this is one of those things where all these services are created by, as technology advances, new services are created and they become huge opportunities, right? And we're in a powerful position because every service needs customers. I don't care how great your service is. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business. And what do? We get customers. So there's always an opportunity for us. There's always an opportunity for ACN as things emerge, as things emerge. Wow. That just happened. As things emerge, we are in perfect, I would say accidentally perfectly positioned ourselves for all future opportunities. Okay? But here's what I love about what we do. It's not just about making money. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna pretend like none of us are here to make money. How many of you would like to earn a lot of money doing ACN, right? But how many of you realize when you chase money, it's hard to make money? But if you have a vision, money follows. Think about that. If you do something you love, you're passionate about, you have a vision about what you're doing, money will always follow a vision, right? And so I will tell you that our vision was not just to make money. Our vision is we always wanted to create the largest direct selling company of all time. And we've always believed we could. We still believe we will. We are not there yet. For us to be the largest of all time, we have to be well over $10 billion a year. We're not even close to our goal. But are we going to get there together, yes or no? Yeah. We're going to do it. And every one of you are going to be the beneficiary of that growth. But why are we doing this? By the way, there's a lot of ways to get customers. You can do internet marketing. You could run traditional media advertising. There's ways to get customers and make money and do business without doing direct selling. But I will tell you, I will speak on behalf of myself, the other founders of ACN, all the leaders in this room that are here today. We just love what we do. We love this industry. We're passionate about it because, and I'll tell you why I am so passionate about it. I'm a product of it. I didn't come from money. All of us, most of us had struggles growing up. So we know what it's like to be broke, severely broke. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a story in a minute, but when I tell you we were broker than broke, right? And I was one of those people that always had high ambition. I wanted to be more, but how many of you guys love the fact that even though the United States is not perfect, this is the land of the free, land of the opportunity, right? Even though it's the land of the free and land of the opportunity, how many of you also know it's not easy to become wealthy? If you're not born in the right family, if you don't have the right contacts, if you don't have the perfect education, if everything isn't just perfect, it's hard to make money. And I've had people say, well, this seminar said money makes money. How many heard money makes money? That's a good success tip, right? Money, let's say it together. Money makes money. Great if you have a lot of money, but most people don't have a bunch of money to make money, right? So the reality is, everybody has a dream, but not everybody has the vehicle. And I know this because I tried everything under the sun. Picture this, in my early 20s, I have a twin brother. We tried everything under the sun, everything you could think of. And we were learning, making mistakes, this and that. And I realized that most of the things I did, there was no road for me to wealth. And so when I got introduced to the direct selling industry, this industry that you look at, I fell in love with it instantly. Why did I fall in love with it? Because it is a business. When you start, you're an independent business owner. How many of you love that, right? But here's the reality. It's an independent business where you can start from very little and you can take it as far as you want. And not everything you do out there can say that. Think about it. Most businesses require a lot of upfront money to start, and there isn't always that high-end potential with that great business you just started. With us, low startup cost. How many of you would agree? $199 and $25 a month. That's your business cost. Is it affordable, yes or no? Yes. Okay, that's the great news. It's affordable. And the second piece of great news is you can take it as far as you want. So why am I passionate about this? Because what we do that's different than other people is we empower people. We help people that maybe didn't know or didn't have a business concept in which they could meet their dreams. I didn't grow up when I was young thinking one day I want to grow up and sell services. I never thought of that. But when you see the direct selling industry, you realize this is a great vehicle to achieve all dreams that you want to achieve. There's a lot of people in this room that maybe business isn't your passion. Maybe you want to be be in philanthropy. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you like music. Maybe you want to just, be at home and be with your children. You must want more time in your life. Whatever it is that you want, the way I want you to look at ACN, this is your road to get there. This is your road to get there. And I love what we do because, I could talk for 3 days, so I got to learn how to condense what I'm going to say in just a very short period of time. But the reason I was telling you how big these industries are is I want you to think about this. $1 trillion is on the table. Everybody, we don't have to invent it. We don't have to create it. We don't have to convince anybody to buy anything that they're not already using. This is the key to what we're doing. We're just basically participating in industries that already exist. Largest, fastest, most profitable industries in the world, everybody wants a piece of it. But we empower the individual. We're the only company of our kind. Think about what I'm going to say to you now. Normally, if you want to make money in all these industries, you have to be rich already, or you have to be a large company, because it takes millions and millions of dollars to become your own service provider. But ACN's business model, well, all of us doing it together, we have made it affordable, where the common person can sign up for $200, pay $25 a month, and the second you do that, you have an online store. You're in business. You're ready to go. And from that moment forward, you can go head to head. Think about this, head to head with billion-dollar companies. You can take as many of their customers as you choose to take. You can take as much of their revenue as you choose to take. And guess what? When you do, you get to be paid like they're paid. And that's reoccurring residual income when people pay their bills every single month for the life of the customer. You get paid like big business. We empower people. Who can get passionate about that? Yes or no? And that's what we do. That's why we do it. I had a person come up to me recently, and he kind of threw me off. He said, you said you guys aren't the biggest yet. Your goal was to, be the largest direct selling company of all time, or your goal was to get more. Because here's what I basically say to people. We've been doing this for 28 years, and we are considered very successful. We've already done billions in sales. We've already acquired millions of customers. We are considered a very successful company. But at the same time, because these industries are so big, we have barely scratched the surface. That means, listen to what I'm going to tell you now. After 28 years, millions of customers. You want to hear something? If you went into ACN's busiest city today, where we have the most revenue, the most customers, we still represent less than 1/10 of 1% market penetration. That means over 99.9% of the people out there still are not our customers. They're not IBOs working with us. Which means, where do you find a company that has a 28-year success track record and at the same time is as ground floor as you'd ever want to be? How is that possible? It's because these industries are so large. We can't even come close. I want you to imagine a mountain of gold that's so big. And then all of us, we were told that we have the first chance to take as much of that gold as we want. And so all of us got together, we went to this mountain, and we have a very short period of time, and we start getting all the gold, we start filling our cars, our trucks, whatever we can, we take as much gold as we want. And we pull away from that mountain. And I'm telling you, we did as much as we could possibly do. And we got enough gold for us, our families, our kids, our kids' kids, our kids' kids' kids. And we drive away, and we look back at the mountain, and you can't even see a scratch from what we have taken from it. And even crazier, by the time we drove away, the mountain got even bigger. Okay, that is what we are doing here. These industries are not only huge, they are still the fastest growing industries in the world. All I'm telling you, it's hard to catch your breath when you realize what we have. We have something incredible, we have something special, and nobody else is doing it. Now, what do I mean by that? There's a lot of companies offering the services we're offering. There's a lot of business opportunities out there where people are in direct selling, but we are the only company that combines the essential services industry with direct selling. What does that mean? That means, where do you in life do you ever find anything good where there's not competition? How hard is it to win a race when you look to your right and you look to your left and nobody's standing there? Think about it. Do you understand the position we are in? If you want to be in direct selling and you want to offer services, we are your only choice. Do you understand what that means, you guys? You are in a powerful position to build huge businesses, empowering people. I remember, I'm going to cover a couple simple things, because I want you to know that when all the founders got together, the only reason we started ACN is not because of any other reason than we just loved the idea of combining services with the direct selling industry, period, hands down. And we weren't aware of any good companies at the time. I'm not saying there wasn't good companies. There probably was. We just weren't aware of them at the time. So we ended up starting ACN because we were, I would say, like you're IBOs in a company. We all came from other companies, and we learned what's good about our industry. We also learned what's bad about our industry. So we said, you know what, as IBOs, we're not business people starting a company, we're IBOs starting a company. So we knew the most important thing in your business is your IBOs, all of you. We can stand up here all we want. I appreciate the nice things people say about us. We couldn't do this without you. You can't do it without us. We're a team. Each and every one of us are equally as important as the other person. Does that make sense? But collectively, we built a big business, and we're going to continue to do so. So here's our job. Our job today, I look at this as the relaunch of this part of the country with our Emerge event. And the world is opening up again. We don't know what's going to happen with all the stuff that's out there today. But we're here because we know, as Pat told you, as you're going to learn, the positive thing that came out of all this in the last couple of years is the fact that everyone was forced to use Zoom technology. How many of you love the fact that we can do that today, right? So we can do things we could not do in the past. It's simpler for prospects. It's simpler for us to present to people, to show them the business. That means the leaders of tomorrow, I'm telling you right now, mark my words, the leaders of tomorrow, just because of that, you'll be 10 times bigger than the leaders of the past. Just because how much more simple the business is. But here's also the reality. You need to be high tech in business, but you can't just get rid of high touch. You got to be high touch and high tech. Does that make sense? That means it's important for us to get together. We're only doing these events for one reason, because as any of you know, if you've been around at all for any period of time, getting someone to join ACN is one thing, right? We can all do that. But how many of you don't want people just to join? How many of you want people to join, be passionate, be excited, be hardworking as you are about what you're doing, right? And that's why we do these events. Because our job is to help you deliver the vision, because I believe people perform to the exact degree and how much they believe in what they're doing. And how do you get belief is when you catch a vision. That's why we do this, is to help get the information out there, make sure things are communicated in the best possible way from the best people that have already built the business. Pat Mazer, Mike Mazer, all the people you're going to hear from today, they've already started just like you. They've gone all the way to SVP just like you, and they're here just to tell you how to do it. How many of you want to hear from a motivational speaker? How many of you would rather hear from someone who's already done what you're doing, right? And that's what you have here today. So let me talk about something. Mr. Pat Mazer said a few things. I'm going to run through this really quick, because the only reason I'm going to share what I'm going to share with you now is because when every one of us go through personal growth. How many of you love going through personal growth, right? And we learn as we go. And I'll tell you that when I was going through my period of learning this industry, I studied personal growth. I can't even express to you how many hours of every day. There wasn't a moment I wasn't listening to something, reading something on psychology of success, the art of selling, anything and everything to make you better as a person, right? And I remember I would always overlook simple things, because I always thought to be very successful in life, it must be very complex. So few people have success, so success must be very complex. So I would always overlook simple things. Like every book I ever read, there was always a chapter on the power of enthusiasm, excitement, elevated energy, right? And I would read that, I go, yeah, I'm excited. Where's the good stuff, Where's the secrets to success? And I would overlook that. Now, looking back in time, that was the secret of success. When you come to a meeting like this, how many of you are waiting for that one piece of information where the light bulb goes off and you go, boom, I now have SVP mentality, right? What is that piece of information? Well, I hate to be the bearer of this news, but the most powerful information you hear, whether you realize it or not, is the most basic information that you hear on your most basic training. We overlook it. But without this, nothing else matters. Think about what I just said. Without this, nothing else matters. So when you launch your business, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on every little slide here, but I want you just to hear a couple key things. Number one, we always tell people, you have to make a decision. Are you in or are you out? That's up to you. Are you committed? You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I know this because when I first got in this industry, I was coming out of the insurance industry. And I'll never forget thinking, well, if this doesn't work, I can always go back to, well, if that's the way you think, you're already setting yourself up for failure. You've got to make a decision. Are you in or are you out? Who's in? Okay, you committed to that. Second thing, you have to know you're going to go through a learning curve. You have to learn this just like you've learned anything else, and that won't change. So never get frustrated about not knowing every answer to every question or learning as you go. Eventually, this will become second nature to you. Hey, when you see Pat Mazer up here and all the leaders you're going to see today, how many think they look pretty sharp, right? Yeah. The things they're saying, you should have saw them when they started. They're like the rest of us. I mean, every one of us. I mean, I wish I could show you a video of each and every one of us, because if you saw us when we started, you would know that you can make it. That's the only thing I would tell you. You would know that you can make it. So you're going to go through a little bit of a roller coaster. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. Things will work out. Some things won't. People you know that you absolutely think are going to join you will not. People that you think will become your customers, they won't. You know, and this will happen to you. And you know what? People get so hurt by one thing that goes wrong early on. The biggest reason someone quits a business like ours is because everything wasn't perfect out of the gates. Let me tell you something. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. How many have ups and downs in life anyway? Yes or no? Okay, don't blame us for your psychological issues. Okay? Sorry, I'm just joking about that. But listen, the reality is this. Here's how I want you to handle business. I want you to say this: rise above emotion. Say it again. Think like big business. Big business is not emotional. If a commercial is aired on, by the way, you ever watch TV at night with these commercials? And some of these commercials run over and over and over again. Like, you gotta be careful, watch this commercial again. But that commercial is unemotional. They tell their message, and if I don't like it, they don't care. If I like it, they don't care. They just simply roll that message over and over again, and that's what we should do. Rise above emotion. We are not here to make our lives complex. Just share what we love and we believe in. The key is to understand how you do this. Remain coachable. Who's coachable in this room? Raise your hand. Are you coachable? Yeah. You promise? Yeah. Okay. So if you're coachable, you got to remember, you got to have long-term thinking. Don't think about next week. Don't think about next month. Where can you be 2 years from now? Where can you be 5 years from now? How many notice time flies fast? How many notice it flies even faster as time goes on? Okay, so whether you like it or not, 3 years is coming whether you like it or not. And where you are 3 years from now is completely dependent on the decisions and the things that you do today. Okay? Don't look backwards. Every one of us can look backwards and say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, right? Forget that. We all look forward now and we think long term. The key is to never quit. Now look, you got to remember something. You have always, who in this room would like to see yourself as a great leader in ACN? Okay? Great leaders keep things simple. Keep it simple for yourself. Keep it simple for other people. Do not allow anybody to make things complex. We do two things. We get customers, and we build a team of other people who get customers. That's it. Some of you will get a lot of customers. Some of you will get a little. Doesn't matter. Just get your customers, build a team, they'll do the same, and you'll have a growing business. When you invite people, Pat Mazur covered it, when you invite people, the biggest advice I can tell you is after you make your list is that here's something you cannot avoid. That some of the people you think will do this will not do this. Some of the people you think won't do this, for sure, they're going to be the first ones to do this, like Pat says, right? The ones you think will be the best will be the worst. And the ones you think will be the worst will be the best. Why? Because you can judge all you want on the outside, but you don't know what's going on with someone on the inside, okay? Our job is to not judge. Our job is to invite everybody at all times. Let them make their own decision, all right? We're not in the business of selling. We're in the business of sorting. This is very important and the hardest thing. We'll all agree with it when I say it, right? Who agrees with that? Yeah. But you'll find yourself accidentally selling versus sorting. Always rise above emotion and always sort. Don't try to convince anybody to do the business, because here's the reality. Whenever we talk to anybody about our business or becoming a customer, they'll fall into one of three categories, and there's nothing you can do about it. We'll call them the red apples, the green apples, and the brown apples, okay? We used to call them rotten apples until I offended somebody. Someone came up to me after a meeting and goes, let me tell you something. You ever call me a rotten apple again? I go, listen, calm down. I'll change it, okay, to brown. Believe me, people have no problem correcting us, and sometimes I'm happy about that. Because I remember when we first started talking about apples, I would say, hey, we're looking for red apples, so you're gonna come across some green apples, put the green apple on the shelf, and maybe it'll ripen to become red, maybe it won't. And someone came up to me and said, hey Tony, listen, I just want to correct you on something. He goes, tomatoes ripen, apples don't. Now at this point, I already did a recording on a training, everything was recorded in documents of me talking about how apples ripen. And I was so humiliated. I go, thank you. I wish you would have told me that a little sooner. But anyway, People will always fall into these three categories. Red apples, green apples, brown apples. Red apples we love, they say yes. Yes, I want to join your business. Yes, I'll become your customer. We love red apples. Green apples want to think about it. They're on the fence. Okay, and then the brown apples say no. If someone says no, it's not bad. Okay, that just means no. Some people have good reasons why they don't want to work with us. How many of you know people that do things that you don't want to do? That doesn't make you a bad person. If we all love each other and say, great, you do your thing, I do my thing. So just remember, we're not here to change anybody. We're just here to offer an opportunity and let the apples fall where the apples fall. That just came out. Anyway, so here's how I want you to spend. If you really want to become successful and successful quickly, it's how you spend your time. Spend 80% of your time, what did I say? 80. Say 80. 80% of your time looking for red apples. Spend about 20% of your time with the green apples so they can make a decision, and you are not allowed to spend any time in business with the brown apples. That doesn't mean you get in arguments or fights or you're not friends. That just simply means don't talk about ACN. Spend your time talking to people who want to talk to you. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes. Sorting is critical. Because again, rise above emotion. Some will, some wait, some won't. So what? Say so what? Say so what louder. No matter what happens from this day forward, you're only allowed to have fun. That means if you talk to someone and they like it, you say great. Say great. Great. If they want to think about it, you say great. If they say no, you say great. If they say I like you, you say great. If they say I hate you, great. You're horrible. Great. You're never going to make it. Great. You're a winner. Great. Who cares? Great. You got it? You got it? Everything's great from this day forward. Now listen, I don't want to spend, this is too detailed. I want to do this very quickly on the comp plan, but what I do want to do is just make a couple points. The comp plan is important for you to understand. If you don't understand it, take the time to understand. I'll tell you why. Because when you understand that in life, Pat Mazer was just up here talking about how important is your why. Why are you doing this, right? Well, do you understand that most people, when you choose your why, we call those end values. What's an end value? Because a lot of people think mean values are important. Mean values are the things that we think are important. A nice car, you know what I'm saying? A big house. Sometimes we think those things are important, but those are mean values that really lead to what we call end values. And end values are things that mean values bring you. Like, for example, if you have a nice car, maybe what you really get out of it is recognition. Hey, what a great car. And it's that feeling that someone complimented you that's really what you're looking for. Does that make sense? It's having more time with your family. So everything that's really important is an end value. All right, but I also like to be realistic. What's going to give you those end values? It's the money, the comp plan. The more money you have, the more money you earn, the easier it is for you to do the things that are good and important that really will make a difference in your life, your children's life, and other people's lives around you. Does that make sense? So, we've all heard the saying, a drowning person is of no value to another drowning person. So, and I say in business, we as leaders, are you guys leaders? Yes. In business, we have a responsibility to earn. So we can put ourselves on firm financial ground so we can help somebody else. All right? So do you understand where I'm coming from? Yes. So it's important to understand the comp plan. The more you understand it, the more you'll know where to focus your energy and your efforts. So you guys know that our whole thing is built on a point system. That means a service and a customer doesn't necessarily mean one point or one service. Here's an example of a single customer. This could be you, a friend, your neighbor. They're using 4 of your services. If you put a point value to each of our services, here's an example of one customer. It could be 20 points. Now, the only reason you need to know this, if you ever wanted the details of any points, just look on the document to get those details. But why do you really need to know this? Because knowing this, there's certain things you want to achieve in the comp plan and certain things you have to achieve. Knowing that a single customer can have more than one service, products are worth more than 1 point, it's going to be a lot easier to achieve. For example, every one of you know that every month and in your first 30 days, there's fast start bonuses and there's bonuses you get for acquiring customers. All right? So obviously, the more customers you get that upfront money. Now, what I want to do is I want to work backwards with all of you on how the comp plan really works. What you really want to focus on long term is getting the residual income to where you want it. How many of you love the idea that you can get up to 20% of your personal customers? Okay? Now the powerful thing is, how do we do this is because we have these sliding scales. Because ACM pays out so much money, you can't get a deal. You couldn't get a deal like this if you were a big business. You can't get this. 20% of the commissionable revenue of your customers. So our model that we've created allows us to do this. All right, so you need a certain amount of points to get the highest level up to 20%. But all I want you to know about this is that every time you go up, let's say from 3 to 5, 10, all the way to 20%, every time you get an increase, that increase will apply to not only your new and your future customers, but it will apply to every customer you've ever acquired, going right back to the very first one, okay? Why is that important for you to know? Number one, there's no smoke and mirrors in this comp plan. It's a beautiful comp plan. I call it a work of art, number one. Number two, work at your own pace. You know, don't worry if you're slower than somebody else. If it takes you a while to get to 200 plus, no problem. The moment you do, you're at 20% of all of your customers that you generated. All right, is that good to know? All right. Same thing with building a team. You know, when you build a team of people, you know, a lot of people don't understand this, but all levels is that every person that joins has the same opportunity. Nobody's different. We all get paid the same exact way. So the people that you introduce yourself, those individuals would be on your level 1. And the people on your level 1, when they start building their team, those first people come on your level 2, and so on and so forth, okay? Now, for you to be qualified to all 5 levels, there's a minimum requirement. That's, again, how we pay so much, all right? Now, to get to all 5 levels, you had 75 or more personal customer points. Now, one thing I need you to know is that these are not different than the other 200 points. So if you're at 200 points and you're at your 20%, you're clearly over 75. Does that make sense? Oh, yeah. So it's the same points, all right? But once you're over 75 points, here's the cool thing about this. We don't have any, you know what I don't like about direct selling? I used to hate this. All the other companies that were out there that I learned from, they had monthly requirements or quarterly requirements, quotas. And if you didn't get your quota, I don't care how high you were in the company, you didn't get paid. Your check rolled up to somebody else. We hated that. So we said no daily, weekly, monthly quotas. All we're going to do is just have a one-time goal to meet. Once you meet it and maintain it, I don't care how little you work. I don't care how much you work. You will always get paid. When you have 75 or more personal customer points, I don't care how big your business is and how much you're making. If you don't want to work for 6 months, I don't care. You will always get paid on every customer that's acquired on every single level in your team. So how many of you love the fact that we don't have these monthly requirements, all right? All right, so just know long-term your goal is to eventually have over 200 or more personal customer points. And as you're building the business, it's just a matter of time before you get there. Here's an example of how the business really looks, and I really don't want you guys to make it any more complicated than what you see here. Here's an example of someone, this is you at the top, you're taking the business seriously, you have let's say customers totaling 20 services yourself, great job, congratulations, and you're building a team, and your people start building a team. But if you look at this, no one person did a lot. What did you do? You have 20 services, 3 people you invited on your team. But they did the same. One has 2 services, 2 people on their team. No one person did a lot, but everybody doing a little adds up to a lot. Does that make sense? Yeah. Don't let anyone deviate your thoughts from what I just showed you here. I've had people come up to me and start asking me questions about the business. They're so confusing, so overwhelming. Has anyone ever thrown you off with like 5 billion questions? I've had it I'm like, they overwhelm me so much that I actually questioned my ability to continue in business. You know, this is too hard. This is too hard. I can't do this anymore. Wait a minute, you snap out of it. Our job is not to let people derail us. Our job as a leader is to keep people on track. Don't let anybody derail you. Whatever they say, snap out of it. It's about a lot of people doing a little bit, it's about a few doing a lot, not a lot doing a little. Keep the business simple, okay? What I want to spend a second on, and move forward here, is when you look at the plan, okay, I'll just talk about the first 3 positions. Here's my goal, here's what I really want. If any of you are not regional directors yet, stand up if you are not a regional director yet. Stand up. Okay. Yeah. We'll be there. No, let's clap for them, because these are all future regional directors. Clap. Like that. I'm talking to you, okay? I'll tell you why. If you don't understand this is the one message I want you to get, is I want you to be crazy obsessed with becoming a regional director, and I'll tell you why. When you hit that position, that's when the comp plan really kicks in terms of this. That's where you start getting paid really, really, really good to help other people. How many like helping other people, first of all, okay? Look, most of us would help people for free, but if you get paid a lot to do it, that makes a big difference. So for you to become a regional director, just remember, you need 600 total points in your team, total points. Every personal point you get will count towards those 600. The only rule that you need to know is it will allow you to count up to 200 points in one team. Okay, so just review this with the person you're working with if you don't understand what I just said. The reason we do that is you just can't have one team, right? So here's an example of, let's say you have 50 points yourself, and you have, let's say, 5 teams. Each of those individuals represents 1 or more people. So here you got a team of 150 points, 175. So in this example, congratulations, you're over 600 points. Now that team that says 300 points, you can count 200 of those points. So that means technically you got to knock off 100, you have 600 total points. Congratulations, you still became a regional director. Now what I'm going to spend just a moment on is the overriding customer acquisition bonuses that you get. These are the bonuses you get on every new IBO that joins your team when they get their first 3 customers within their first 30 days of their start date. Repeat that, first 3 customers in their first 30 days. Say it again. First 3 customers in their first 30 days. All right. Why do I say that? Because that's what releases to you this bonus. If somebody doesn't get those first 3 customers within 30 days, you don't get a bonus on them. Don't get mad. Don't get upset. Because some people go, I quit. I had someone join, and they didn't do it in 30 days, and I missed them. Who cares? We're long-term. We know this. That's why we pay so much out in these bonuses. Let's say I joined your team. I didn't do it in 30 days. What if something happened at a false start? Well, let's say 60 days from now, I start taking it seriously. You know, from that day forward, every customer I get, your residual grows. From that day forward, every person I build on my team that gets their first 3 customers, you get bonuses on all of them. So who cares if you miss a bonus? Focus on working with the people that are working and always have a positive mental attitude. Always think long term. Can y'all do that? Yeah. Never let anything get you down. Now, I'm just going to show you real quick why I want you to become an RD. Okay? When everybody starts, now I'm not talking about fast start bonuses and all that, just overriding caps. When you start and you become an IBO, you'll get $50 on every new person that you personally sign up when they get their first 3 customers in 30 days. Okay? But you don't get any bonus on your 2nd level, your 3rd level, and that's why you want to become an ETL. The value of becoming an ETL is that little arrow you see under the $50. That means that now not only do you get that $50 bonus on everyone you personally introduce, you get on your 2nd level, your 3rd level, your unlimited levels, until someone on your team becomes an ETL just like you. Okay, now everyone, you want to roll up this plan, everybody's going to follow this plan, right? Now when someone becomes an ETL, they'll pick up the $50 on their team now, and you won't get it on them, but you get it on everybody else. Now this is your incentive to become a regional director. When you move up, 2 things happen. Remember this, you get paid more, so you get paid more, but you get paid better. All right, so here's the more. The second you guys become RDs, from that day forward, any new person that you personally introduce to ACN, when they get their first 3 customers, you earn $200. Now, how many like 200 over 50? Okay. Now, if you have a little arrow, that's unlimited levels until someone becomes an ETL. Now, when you have an ETL in your group, remember you made 0 when you were an ETL. Guess what that changes to? From this day forward, as an RD, you will now make $150 on every new person joining your business under your ETLs who get their first 3 customers in 30 days. Now, see that little arrow under the 150? Let me tell you what that means. That means unlimited levels of ETLs. That means you could have 50 ETLs straight down in one team, does not matter. If the 50th one down below, 50 ETLs, introduce someone to the business, and that person gets their first 3 customers within 30 days, not only do they make $50, you make $150. Okay, do you understand? Now, it doesn't stop here. Do you think RD is clearly better than ETL, yes or no? Yes. So do you think someone on your team is going to want to become an RD? Yes. Of course. So your first RD that hits, it could be your first level, it could be 5 levels, anywhere on your team. From that day forward, Remember it went to zero when you were in ETL? It doesn't go to zero here. We still will give you a $100 unlimited override. Okay, now, 3's here, and I'll just focus on what I'm showing you. The second you're an RD, if you have an RD in your team, a bunch of ETLs in your team, IBOs in your team, you're going to have that, right? When anyone joins in your team, under any one of these individuals, and they get their first 3 customers in 30 days of their start date, you're going to earn either $100, $150, or $200 in every single one of those people. Now, we love helping people, but how many love helping people more when you make those kind of bonuses to help people? Think about it. Okay, think about it. You could choose one. Let's say you say, Tony, you're my RD, and I'm in your team, and I'm in ETL. You could come to me and say, Tony, you seem motivated. I'm going to help you this month. I'm going to help you in the month of November. And you focus all your energy just helping me. And I'm only one ETL on your team. And let's say you help me get, let's say, 10 people on my team. 10 people. And I got 10 people in the month of November. I'm excited. They all got their 3 customers in 30 days. So I made 10 times $50. You helped me make $500 this month. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But what did you make? You made 150 times 10. You made $1,500 to help me make $500. So do you understand? First of all, do you like helping people? Getting paid like that, isn't that much better? So here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Number 1, get to RD. Number 2, how many new IBOs would you like to see joining your business and getting those first 3 customers within 30 days of start date every day, every week, every month? That's the only question I want you to ask. This is where the money rolls in. Now, when that money rolls in, why is it rolling in? Because new people are getting customers. So you're getting paid these huge bonuses, but what's automatically growing every single month? Your residual. Because you're only getting bonuses because someone got customers, which is driving revenue, which is building your residual income. So this is where a lot of your money is going to come from until that residual income gets to where you want it to be. But I want you to imagine one day, let's say you had momentum in your business, right? Imagine you had 20 new people. And it was consistent. 20 new people getting their 3 customers in 30 days of their start every week. What's 20 times? Let's go to the lowest number. What's 20 times 100? Would it be cool if you get a $2,000 weekly bonus check, yes or no? Yeah. Would it be cool? Okay, now imagine this. You built your residual to, let's say, $8,000 a month. Okay, now who would be excited if you did that? So I want you to imagine it's happening. It's happening. You're making money, right? So you get 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. Oh, and the 4th week you get the residual and the 2,000. What's 8 plus 2? So who would like your business to look like this? 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 10,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 10,000, 2,000. Would you like it, yes or no? Now listen, I cannot stand up here. Now all I'm telling you, it's all about us keeping it simple. Showing them, get yourself to RD and then build momentum. When you hit RD, I can't promise you're going to make any money at all. That's up to you. But how do you like to know that the money's there? Yeah. If you build momentum, you will get paid, period, hands down. Now look, I just want you to focus on those first 3 positions. Once you get to RD, create momentum. Look, you can become an RD. Listen, I want to be honest with you. You can become an RD and have no momentum. 0. Like, I'm an RD, but I have no momentum, okay? It just didn't click. Who cares? Everything from here to there is your learning experience. But when you hit RD, imagine you have dead momentum. You know what? But if you just go recruit one person as an RD, one, who gets their first 3 customers, you make $200. So at any moment you can kickstart that business. But eventually over time, you want to get that business where it creates momentum and stability. And eventually, but I want you to get your first big check as an RD. Because once you do, it's going to ruin your life forever. Just remember that. Because getting paid doing what we do is a lot more fun than what most people do. And that's all I'm going to tell you. You will get addicted to this great industry. But get yourself to RD, create momentum, and then set your sights eventually on RVP and SVP. And all I can tell you is this, that when you become an RVP, it makes RD look bad. That's all you need to know. Okay? When you become an SVP, it makes RD and RVP look bad. That's all you need to know. Focus on getting RD, then set your sights on these higher positions, and it's just a matter of time before you can experience the great dream that everybody is offered here in this ACN opportunity. Anyway, you guys, I appreciate all of you guys being here. I'm going to get off the stage so we can kick the training going. I want to thank you all for being here. I'm excited. Let's make history together. Thank you guys so much.
Put your hands together for ACN co-founder Tony Kupis. Now, welcome to the stage, Regional Vice President in the LA market, by way of Burbank, California, Dean Caroli.